You know what they say, you only see what you want to see. Yes, that's right, even though a lot of us tune into K-dramas these days, we all miss a good chunk of detail, even when we're watching with all the focus that we've got. And especially with Little Women, a show that is currently the talk of the town. So let's dive right into what your eye probably didn't catch. Did you know that the intro of Little Women has the show's entire story in it? Believe it or not, it's true. In fact, almost all of the plot twists are cooped up in there. To say the least, this show isn't just creative and beautiful with 3 strong independent women as the leads, but the show is literally wrapped up in mere minutes. Secrets have been let out by fans all over Twitter and Reddit, and so much so that the Swoon finally addressed the elephant in the room and made a small compilation post on Instagram with all of the scenes that you probably would have missed when you watched the opening. The comments are proof of it. Not only are people drooling over the show, but they're also shaken at how much they haven't noticed when they watched it for the first time. And a large majority never even watched the opening more than twice or thrice. So the next time you're about to watch yet another moving episode of the show, don't skip that opening and see for yourself, because you know how it goes. Devil's always in the details. Oh, now comes the spicy bit of it all, the all-time loved cover of the drama. We've all seen and loved it since it was first unveiled, right? Not so fast though. The drama faced a lot of fierceness lately from the Japanese beauty brand Shiseido over the claim that Little Women in fact stole their cover. While these allegations are pretty serious and you might want to dismiss them because of how much you love the show, they pretty much seem completely true. Let me break it down for you. The poster has 3 women walking toward the left edge, one after the other. The other edge of the poster is right empty. The background behind them is an egg white sort of color, and the ground under their feet a pastel blue. The shadows of the women extend all the way down into the blue. Lovely poster, don't you think? But do you know who else has a poster like that? Shiseido. Now let's take a look at their poster. People walking to the left edge, white background, pastel blue floor, their shadows extending into the blue area. Something smells fishy in here, doesn't it? The only difference seems to be the number of people and the tilt of the shadows. Several fans who know of the Japanese brand even pointed this out on social media saying, even the colors are similar, they are going to need to explain themselves. These are too similar. They didn't use the poster as a reference, they copied them. So really, it isn't just us, it's everyone pointing it out. The fire spread so far and so much that instead of talking about the show, everyone started talking about the poster. And ratings began to soar even though people loved the show in just the first week. Quite a pickle, right? Anyway, the TV and drama was left with no choice but to speak up, or the sea of comments and speculation was going to swallow them whole, I tell you. So they finally broke their silence and came out with a statement saying, the poster illustrates the 3 sisters walking towards a brighter future and was used as a teaser poster for the drama. The design team made the poster after several deliberations. We will be thorough in the future and be careful not to let this happen again. Doesn't it feel like the team still refuses to address the issue and wants to deny it? Your fellow K-drama fans also think so. In fact, several of them were so infuriated that they started bombarding the Little Women production team with insults all over social media. One tweet thread spread into another. I see this happening more often these days. If this continues, it will have a negative impact on Korea's cultural content. Are you guys crazy? To add insult to injury, the drama's poster is the worst. Jeez, that's harsh, and frankly, very embarrassing at this point. But what can we do sometimes? TV and productions chose to sweep the issue under the rug, and while we fans really aren't having it with the slimy, skeevy, copycat attitude, I think we kinda have no choice but to stop barking up this tree. The show's good, and the cast is amazing. Maybe just stay at that, no? Okay, next one. The Blue Orchid symbolism in the show is one of the most subtle yet obvious of all time. These orchids were hidden in almost every other episode of the show where there was a major accident, including 2 major car accidents. Did you notice? Well, if you did not, you might want to rewind back. The orchid, it turns out, belonged to the one family who used its curse to commit crimes. Discovered by In Kyung and Jong Ho, this is known as the Orchid of Death or the Ghost of Vietnam. The Won family, on the other hand, kept these grown in a secret room in their house and attempted to kill one of the sisters, Inye, with it. But spoiler alert, her sisters managed to save her. Regardless, you cannot go without applauding how well Little Women incorporated it. Let's come back to the show itself, shall we? We all got a little wound up there. Spoiler alert, but there might be a tragic twist. I mean, I didn't get any backdoor info and this isn't for sure, so don't come at me just yet, my dear viewers. Let me walk you through some facts here and then you decide for yourself, okay? Here goes. So the show begins, the three sisters are poor, yada yada yada. Go watch the show, I can't reveal it all, you know. And then the eldest sister, our lovely, strong, independent, witty Oh In-ju, takes on herself to provide for the family and earn enough so that all three of them can escape their life of poverty. Oh, our Mother Teresa. Long story short, she manages to make money and become the owner of a huge fortune. But have you ever watched the K-drama where there isn't a good old trick in the bag? If you haven't picked up on it already, we're speculating that the drama might end up bringing a tragic loop onto the character. How, you ask? Let's jump into some of the metaphors of the show surrounding In-ju. Always a woman in heels, the very first episode and every episode since. The woman has not been outside of her heels. But in the same episode 1, her heel broke and she had to borrow sneakers from her friend Hwa-young. Now you might think there's a double meaning to this. Either it symbolizes that she's on to new beginnings where she'll make more comfortable life choices. Or it could also mean that there will be a shift in roles, i.e. Hwa-young and In-ju swap places and In-ju meets a similarly tragic end as Hwa-young. See where I'm coming from? Well, there's more. Rewinding back to episode 3 of the show, Won Sang-woo is reading The Count of Monte Cristo, a story where a guy is wrongfully accused of crime. Sang-woo compares In-ju's escape from his apartment to that guy's crime. You know where I'm heading with this. Yes, you're right. What if this was a metaphorical indication that In-ju is about to face wrongful charges for crimes she never committed? And as we see it later in the show, it does become clear how In-ju is being wrongfully convicted of embezzling 72 billion won. But plot twist, Hwa-young comes to the trial as a witness and confesses to the crime, explaining how In-ju had nothing to do with it. So all's well when the end's well, right? That's K-dramas for you. There's always a trick up their sleeve. And now on to a more serious issue, the Vietnam War. Confused? I'm getting there. Throughout the series, several characters make references to how they fought the war in Vietnam and were deployed in support of the US. Oh no, a mention of international politics and war above all events is never good, is it now? The Vietnam government recently requested Netflix to ban Little Women in Vietnam, and guess what? They actually did. The show is expected to lose a huge chunk of money due to this ban. And while Vietnamese fans are also not okay with how the war was portrayed, they still want it to be on air because of how much they love it. Needless to say, things are up in the air and a negative cloud is currently shadowing the Little Women team as a whole. We just hope this doesn't become an online fiasco as the Little Women poster did. Enough of that drama, am I right? That's everything we know so far on Little Women that you might not have known. Please let us know if there's anything else that you know that we might have missed out on.